And we're back and now. Cold pressed, some prefer a little drizzle over a green salad, some for healthy cooking, while certain churches use it as anointing oil. We're talking liquid gold with Gary Alfonso today in Markets Unusual. Gary, always a pleasure. Hello.
Yeah, good to speak to you. If I told you I'm coming to dinner with Cantalina, Ferrafosa, and Picual, what would you think?
I think you're bringing your three brothers from Italy for supper.
Yeah, well, in fact, that's quite close, but those are the three of the biggest cultivars that they make olive oil from in some of the biggest olive oil producing markets in the world. And in South Africa, increasingly also making olive oil from, particularly the Coratina cultivar in South Africa, which is very suited to the climate in the Southern Cape. And I brought along this one, this extra virgin oil, which I bought from a retailer in the past few days. Very expensive, 300 Rand a bottle, and it's not even a liter. So it just gives you an idea about what's happening with olive oil as a commodity globally. And there's very real reason why we're talking on Markets Unusual about olive oil today. And I'm just going to put the bottle down for us over there. Just to quickly summarize, there are about more than 1,000 cultivars of olives around the world, but only about 150 are used to make olive oil in different regions of the world. And in South Africa, we only make about 2,000 tons of olive oil in South Africa, and that's only about a third of what the local market can sustain in South Africa. But it's also and that's the reason why we import 2/3 of our olive oil. And where does that come from? Some of the largest olive oil producing countries in the world. And the largest by a mile is Spain. And very recently, just a few weeks ago, the Financial Times had a fantastic analogy of what's happening with the olive oil market globally based on the olive crops in Spain, Italy, Greece, North Africa, which is Morocco, also Algeria and Egypt and Turkey, which produce most of the olives and exports around the world. But Spain, as a market of 1.3 billion tons of olive oil per annum, is where we get a lot from. You see, from the consumer market, people are buying less olive oil in Europe, and particularly in Spain, which is the world's biggest exporter and also producer. They're buying less of it because of the cost. And in the last 3 years, the cost of olive oil has tripled. Why has it tripled? Because of it's too hot for too long, and too many sudden floods, particularly as part of this El Nino climate phenomenon that we see around the world. So in the FT story, they're showing that consumers are starting to hoard olive oil because of the high prices, and that's why production's going down. Restaurant groups, major companies that use olive oil in some of their production process are now starting to hoard olive oil in some of the export markets around the world. So that doesn't bode very well for us down here in South Africa, who are looking towards olive oil as a very healthy alternative to some of the cooking oils and some of the perhaps not that healthy options that we sometimes also get olive oil mixed with like canola and all that sort of stuff, which doesn't really carry the full benefits of the Mediterranean diet of extra virgin olive oil. Interesting, in South Africa, a South African olive producer has La Rusticana in the Western Cape, near Cape Agulhas, has won the best extra virgin olive oil product in the world in Spain just about a month ago. And it shows about the quality of the product that we produce in South Africa, particularly down there in the Mediterranean temperature of the Western Cape. So very high outputs from that part of the world, very effective, but also part of the global consumption issue is the fact that Turkey, which is now by virtue of its climate been able to produce the second largest crop this year, is starting to seriously influence the pricing on global markets. But again, the export of the products are being hampered by European logistical problems and bad weather. Interestingly, why is Spain the world's biggest producer of olive oil? When it's so dry there, they have managed to perfect water industrialization and usage of industrial water for agricultural use. And just finally, do you know why they call it liquid gold?
I don't know. With the color?
No, but it was first phrased by Homer, the Greek poet, who 3,000 years ago, when in one of his poems he wrote that Achilles, the great warrior, was washed and almost embalmed by the maidens in olive oil, and that's when he first referred to it as a liquid gold. Today, 3,000 years later, tripling in prices, it's come home to roost.
Interesting indeed, Gary. Always a pleasure hearing from you here on Markets Unusual. That was Gary Alfonso with Markets Unusual.